Now, the Green Party has called for all petrol and diesel vehicles to be banned from driving on the roads by 2035.
It is a radical pledge. It calls for the UK to shift the transport system away from cars and roads, but also push for the return of electric vehicle grants.
Well, today we're asking, should we ban petrol and diesel cars from our roads? Well, joining us now is co-founder of the Together Association, Alan Miller, and director of the Climate Media Coalition, Donica McCarthy. Very good morning to you both. Good to see you. Donica, let's start with you. Is this the right idea from the Green Party?
Yeah, to ban petrol cars from 2035 is a serious policy in response to the seriousness of the climate crisis. We've seen temperatures soar globally this year. Ocean temperatures are terrifyingly above average. And so therefore to see a political party put their head above the parapet and say we need to act is good. But there are positives as well for the public. Electric cars are cheaper to run. They are cleaner to run. We've got 40,000 people dying prematurely from pollution in this country. And also what they mean is that we need to wean Britain drivers off being dependent on global oil billionaires. Putting us away from the oil economy is good for drivers and good for the public and good for clean air, and actually means that we have better quality of air for our kids and pensioners.
Alan?
Well, let's start with the first thing. The idea that we're going to just ban all these cars by 2035 it shows it's an ongoing attempt to ban, stifle and limit. It's very interesting, the idea of electric cars. I don't know how people think they're made, but the idea that you don't use furnaces and you don't use carbon to create an electric car is preposterous. It shows the depth of the fact that people don't talk about accurately things. But where does the cobalt come from? What about the copper? What about the mines with the children? What about the cost? What about the weight? What about the problems for the roads and also for car parks and being set on fire? We've seen all these things with electric, but much more of a concern is this attempt to smear incorrectly using all these notions. Our air is better than it's ever been before in Britain. The direct line of assault that tries to link the cars with people's health, as the mayor did, has been shown to be actually a lie with interference in science. What we want to see in Britain is innovation. We want to see better transport connections across the country. We want to see a transformation. This engineering nation that led the world is now reduced to saying we're going to get rid of cars, we're going to fine, survey and impose on people. We're going to limit, we're going to shut off roads, we're going to have low traffic neighbourhoods, we're going to stop people moving around, we're going to keep them basically in small areas where they can walk and cycle. And this is all part of that agenda. And I'm very concerned as well with the paper mile that's being levied and the whole idea of having digital ID and tracking people, that very soon we're going to see a similar system being introduced by some people like we see in Asia with a social credit system where if you go somewhere or if you want to fly somewhere, you use carbon. And it's very, very worrying.
All right. Donica?
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty potpourri of issues. Listen, making our family streets safer for kids, it makes sense. 15,000 kids a year are injured by drivers. What is wrong with making family streets safer for them? Alan's against 20-mile-per-hour zones. Look what happened in Wales. Insurance claims are down 20%. And actually, it means that kids are 7 times safer. So actually, I don't understand, Alan. We want freedom. Yes, we both agree with that. I want freedom from pollution. I want freedom from climate destruction. I want kids to be free from fear on our community streets. What's wrong with that? Let's have a win-win for freedom, Alan.
Well, 20 miles an hour in Wales was demonstrated to delay lots of emergency vehicles and first responders, which resulted directly in all sorts of problems that have been reported widely. Listen, we should have a grown-up debate. 20 miles an hour, don't interrupt please, 20 miles an hour around schools or some areas where people might decide to do that, that's something we can come up with. Blanket rules that get imposed that have not been discussed with the public, have not had scrutiny and a cost-benefit analysis where we all, as a populace, as a demos, get a chance to weigh these things up. The consultations that allegedly come often are not done properly, often ignore people. Let's have a proper debate. Now, the Greens are saying this is what we want to do. Can you vote for us on this basis? The Greens have got all sorts of other issues as well at the moment, but they are saying that. So that's good that they're putting that out there. Unfortunately, we've got a situation where quite a lot of the parties have been taken up. You mentioned billionaires. There's a few billionaires, green billionaires, that are underwriting all of these ideas, publishing in the academy, the whole idea. We've done a report on it. It's called Dirty Money, Clean Air, Dirty Money, about politics with Ben Pyle. It's widely been distributed. It's been widely. My point being,
let Donica respond to that. Go on, Donica.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, this is an area where Alan and I will, to his surprise, will agree. We do need transparency in funding in the United Kingdom. Most of the policy agenda in the UK behind fossil fuels has been driven by think tanks that we don't know who funds them. I agree with Alan. All think tanks and all political party funding should be transparent. There should be a law saying we cannot have think tanks in the UK operating that we don't know who funds them. The Global Warming Policy Foundation, for example, is a senior think tank funded by American oil billionaires, and we need transparency in that. I agree with Alan on that.
Oh, well, on that moment of agreement, Donica, Alan, thank you both very much indeed.